Hey everybody, this is Final Flame Productions. Just doing a quick review on the new Terminator Dark Fate trailer that just debuted about a half an hour ago there. Just rewatched a few times. Want to give my first thoughts on it. I'm a little bit confused on it, to be honest. Just a little recap on what my thoughts are on the Terminator franchise. I enjoyed Terminator 3. Still enjoyed it at the time. I've rewatched it recently. I still like it. I think it does pretty much. It does an average job of following up from Judgment Day, which was always going to be a tough task, especially without the James Cameron directing it. But I think Terminator 3 is kind of underrated. Gets a little bit of a hard time. Not perfect. A little bit too much light-hearted comedy here and there. But you know, it's a pretty violent compared to the following two movies, and I quite liked it. Thought Salvation was a bit dull. Some bits were enjoyable. I thought Christian Bale would be a good cast for John Connor, but that didn't work out too well because I don't think he was given that much of a great role. But it was fine. A little bit too dull. Didn't have the spark and the magic that Arnie would give the movie. Thought Genesis was a bit of a mess. Had some great moments here and there, but in general, too much CGI, some poor acting. Script was all over the place, a little bit too confusing, especially if you're not a diehard Terminator fan. And you know, Dark Fate at the moment, looking on the trailer, it seems to be repeating some of the mistakes that Genesis and some of the other Terminator movies did. Too much of a reliance on CGI. I know Judgment Day was a pioneer of CGI back in the day when T-1000 was unveiled, and it was a big CGI creation. But that character and the way they did this CGI on the T-1000, a lot of it was practical. A lot of it was, of course, revolutionary CGI. But they did some of they put tinfoil bullet dents. Practical tinfoil bullet dents on the Robert Patrick's body, little bits like that were actually practically done. You see the difference between Jurassic World and the first three Jurassic Park movies, where the over reliance on CGI over practical effects is a big mistake in my opinion. And judging on this trailer, it's hard to tell from just a trailer, but I do think that Dark Fate is falling into that trap again. I could be wrong. CGI as well can be cleaned up and improved, and we've always seen that in a lot of movies, but a lot of the time that's a false hope sometimes. But again, the Dark Fate trailer really it's quite an action-packed. Starts off with a big action scene. We see Linda Hamilton coming back, which is awesome. She's looking in great shape. She, of course, is a great actor, and she looks really much like Arnold shows up as well, and he's older. Both of them are older, but they still look badass, and just not enough Arnold in the trailer. I do question how big of a role Arnie gets. Judging from the posters and all, it seems like Sarah Connor and the trailer is going to have a big part. Will Arnie come into the movie midway, maybe, or something? Will he survive the movie? He rarely ever survives a Terminator movie, so that's a question as well. The new cast seems kind of bland. We aren't really getting much of a reaction or getting much of a idea for them, what they're doing in the plot. I haven't read any of the leaks. I think there has been a few leaks that delve deeper into the plot. I haven't read those, so the trailer doesn't give away too much. So again, without knowing all the plot details and knowing what direction is taking it, you just have to look at how the movie looks, the tone it's giving off. That there's no light-hearted humor or dopey jokes that maybe Genesis and Terminator 3 relied on too much. So that is, I guess, a good thing. But it's hard to know. I think their over-reliance on doing everything with green screen and doing everything CGI instead of there's a big action scene at the end with two big planes crashing. Everything looks fake, as you wouldn't be able to do that stuff for real anyway, I don't think. But that's the whole difference. Is back in the day when they were making Terminator 2, they couldn't do something like that, so they didn't do it. They done it smaller scale. Like, I always go back to Terminator 2. One of the most impressive action scenes is in a corridor with the T-1000 and the T-800, 100. I'm not up on my things. With Arnold and Robert Patrick, that action scene was just the two of them fighting each other, fisticuffs, in a corridor, and it was all done practically, and it's one of the best action scenes and fight scenes in all of the Terminator movies. So that's the difference. All these past few Terminator movies have relied on big, overblowing, fake-looking CGI action scenes, where CGI should be used sparingly, and unfortunately they're relying on it too much. And we know James Cameron is kind of getting a little bit like George Lucas in the fact that he's doing everything with computers now, instead of trying to do it on the day with practical effects. So again, that's just my gripes. I'm not completely convinced by this. I got scuppered in with Genesis thinking it might turn out good, and it was a bit of a mess. It had its moments, but it was a bit of a mess overall. Hopefully Dark Fate will end up being good, but at the moment I'm sitting on the fence on this. What do you think? Do you think Dark Fate looks good? Let me know in the comment section. Thank you.